can I give another example of a personal patient I had?
Of course, of course.
Yeah. So I remember I had a Middle Eastern man in his 40s, in fact, remarried with a second wife, new kids, who came in basically with severe back pain. And the orthopedic surgeons, unfortunately, told him he had some cysts on his spine. That's how they described it. Now, I took one look at the scan and I said to this gentleman, "Sir, this is not cyst, this is cancer. You've got cancer spread." And he was a bit shocked. He says, "Well, the orthopedic doctors told me it was just cyst." So that's a typical example of not being very forthcoming with the truth. I was right. It transpired he had metastatic bowel cancer. And then he was deteriorating very, very rapidly. What happens is when people start losing their blood, he was being transfused every 3 or 4 days. I concluded that this man had what was called bone marrow failure. So your bone marrow makes blood. If the cancer is invaded the bone marrow, it stops producing blood. And his blood was getting less and less every few days. To which point I said, "I think this man is dying." And the oncologist agreed with me. I had to then go and see this man, this Middle Eastern man, and I said to him very clearly, "I think you're dying, sir. I think you've got 2 weeks of life left or so." And he was absolutely horrified. He said, "No, doctor, I want chemo. I want to be treated." I said, "If we don't get your affairs sorted out, you will die." And the reason I said that to him is because it's very common, apparently, in Middle Eastern culture, that the mortgage is in the husband's name, and it's a very common cultural thing, apparently. And I said to him, "Okay, if you don't sort out your affairs, if you die, your wife will go bankrupt and she will lose the house." Because what happens is if the mortgage is only in his name and the bank account is only in his name, if he dies, the banks will freeze the account. The wife won't get access to any money. She won't be able to pay the mortgage and she will lose the home. And once I told him that with his wife present, well, I'm afraid all hell let loose. She insisted he gets a lawyer. We had to get him to the hospice very quickly because I thought time was so short. Thankfully, within the 2 weeks he had left, I think he lasted about 2.5 weeks, he got a Muslim lawyer. Everything was sorted out before he died. And his wife said to me, "Doctor, I would have never have known any of that had you not told me. Also, I didn't know he had bank accounts in various parts of the Middle East." So do you see how important it is to be truthful to patients and to family?
Plus, how important it is to have the so-called multicultural communication skills. Knowing
Yes.
a bit about the patient, knowing the background and how to individually, it's what you said before, you listen to the patient, to the patient and not go with your, let's treat this because this is what I know how to do. I treat disease. No, I treat the patient as a whole.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think, that's shocking, interesting, frightful. Indeed. If you enjoyed that, you can click the link in the description to watch the full podcast or listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our website. You can also ask questions in the comments below, which will be directed to healthcare professionals in our future weekly episodes. Thank you so much for watching.